right? Like I just don't. I'm not.
For you, 'cause it's a very easy question.
I don't want to have any more easy questions.
Like a legal thing, or is it beyond that?
It's how I feel about the situation, honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
When I get more answers, I'll kind of make my decision. I think that's basically. Oh, for fuck's sake! What?
I think mine's a little simple. Despite maybe even possibly being true, there might be no legal repercussions. It's a hard case to win. I mean, hard case to prove. Even in the case of Kevin Spacey, we agree. Even though he's acquitted, it doesn't prove his innocence. He still could have done really bad things in the past.
No, what I was saying is I didn't like the idea that like I think like
the problem is taking a side and then going ahead 100% taking that side without any evidence or having the contrary, and that's my problem with everybody else. You monkey dipshit because you're the same thing.
If it's revealed that he did these bad things, but there's no any repercussions, you still stand by your statement. If he's not held like legally accountable at all, but he still did bad things.
I just said that I'm gonna wait and see where it is at the end, and then I'll make my decision essentially based off that. I can't, like, there's too many variables for me to be like, well, if this is true and this isn't true, but if the pixie thing is true, but the cherry thing isn't true, or the cherry thing is true and the pixie thing was a little bit about, like, I'm not doing this whole.
I think everyone has like equal weight, and it looks like Dan just joined. Okay, so it seems like everyone's on like a relative like.
I think we should get a little bit more on. First off, you are an unhinged dude. You know that, yeah? Can I just like read your shit back to you?
Oh, this is Dan.
Let's go.
Me?
Sorry.
Not the character.
Well, you started off this saying, well, how did you start this conversation? You said that Redact has a habit of using this type of thing to promote his product. That's the first thing you led this conversation with. So I'd like to see one example of that, please.
Wait, you got to be more specific. One second.
So you came in at the start of this conversation and said, I have a problem with Redact because they start and they market their product specifically like this. So I want to see one example of that. And if you want,
I didn't.
Let's go back.
Wait, I said that. And
I'm talking to Sick.
I made that claim.
Prawn is clarifying that I didn't say that. Yes.
Yeah, I know that.
You're right. You are talking to me.
No, I'm talking to Sick.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, who do you? Okay.
Yes,
wait.
I understand. Yeah, go. Yes,
guy with mustache.
Yes.
Sick.
Yes, I understand. I know who you are.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Okay.
From my understanding from the tweet is that you did believe that it was that.
Well, I can read it.
That they have. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Dan, if you want to read it, go ahead.
I mean, there's just so much. Let's see. Redact, for all it's worth, is there to protect your privacy. It's an escape hatch for sex criminals so that they continue to spread revenge porn and secret tapes while skirting the law. Redact, at its core, isn't meant to protect the average user. It's meant to protect the worst of them. Redact facilitates the cover of revenge porn and its distributors.
Okay. What part do you think is inaccurate or untrue?
Well, all of it, and then also the start of this conversation where you said that we promote our product for that purpose.
I did not say that.
All right, so I guess we should just go to the start of the VOD here. Now that Kick has DVR, this is actually much simpler. Let's see. Darius looking at anime porn on his phone.
Wait, what?
Are you? By the way, when you pull this up, are you gonna stream it so that way I can view it?
I'm trying to find it on my own right now.
Okay.
Would you, even if let's say you can't pull it up or whatever, would you still even believe? Would you still continue to say that Redact is an outlet for sex criminals?
Well, I think the statement it is an escape hatch for sex criminals is true.
Microsoft Windows an escape hatch for sex criminals?
Microsoft Windows as a function does not. It's not intended to delete or hide anything. That's not its function. It is an operating system. It is a gateway for you to access applications and software.
Okay, listen.
I mean, am I wrong?
You're wrong. Redact is a privacy product that does way more to help people across the board than it does to cause bad actions from happening. And you saying things like this actually hurts more people than it does. There's plenty of people that are in situations that are leaving abusive relationships and they want to make sure that that person doesn't have anything against them. There's people in oppressive countries that want to make sure that their political content isn't infringed or that they go to jail for those types of things. And what you're saying, this like basically full libel bullshit, is a type of stuff that like actually makes it so that people are afraid to have discourse at all online because they think the only, like, basically you're enforcing the idea that if you have nothing to hide, you should have nothing to fear. You are
I think this is a pretty tall claim that you're making. Look, I can agree that people probably have used Redact in those applications.
What do you think the odds are?
I would also say I would also say it's kind of crazy for you to think that I can't think that Redact is a sex or an escape hatch for sex criminals when you're saying, hey, by the way, guys, use Redact. Otherwise, I will keep VODs and messages of you and
Never
your
said
kids.
that. Nope, never said that. You can go look for that VOD that doesn't exist. You're basically putting together multiple statements.
What is that?
You're the one making these statements.
What?
And you're asking me what I was said? Don't
play
you
the
think you
clip
should have
then?
this thing fucking locked down before you're like coming out and saying this type of crazy shit?
Here.
Like all privacy software can be used.
Darius,
or like,
I'm gonna actually. Can I even DM you?
I know what
yeah,
you're talking
you should be-
about.
you should
At
be
no
able to.
point did I say do this.
If not, just post it in the. Oh, there he goes. Okay.
So in there's a clip, and then in that clip,
This is the Dan
talks
Clancy
about-
thing. Yeah, I know what this is.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but that's just a clip designed to make me look bad. I don't even say the word redact in that.
Should I play this clip?
Okay,
No, because it's just a clip designed to make me look bad. Like that's it. It has
can you,
no
can you at
mention of
least play
redact.
the clip?
Wait, what is it?
No, Darius. He's just giving you clips where I say shit, and it's designed to make me look as poor as
You said
possible.
you
It has
didn't
nothing-
even say redact. You say it at the very end. It's there.
Oh, so it's like I'm saying this joking? Okay, let me hear it then.
Wait, what happened? Okay.
You're moving the goalposts.
I'm
You're
gonna-
moving the goalposts
Oh,
a little bit. You're like, I didn't say this before. No, it's a joke.
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. If I said it
Play
all
the
alone up
clip.
to it, I can't believe I'd do this.
Playing the clip. Let's hear it.
Journeys, the stuff with your kids, literally everything. Downloading it all, going through it, and use it all against them. By the way, this is a good reason why you should use Redact.dev. They don't sleep good at night knowing that I'm downloading every Facebook.
Wait, that
content.
is a good reason to use Redact.dev. Wait, I stand by that. You would
Wait,
want.
no,
Wait,
wait,
hold on.
wait, wait.
No, stop. No, I actually do stand by that. You would want to use Redact so that a psychopath like me wouldn't go through your shit. I absolutely stand by that. Wait, you're fucking retarded.
I just literally.
So you're
yes,
so you're
I-
so you're
I think-
actually retarded right now, is what you said. I said this is why you should use Redact, so a psychopath like myself won't go and look through your shit. To be clear, are we on the same page now?
Every comment you made everywhere.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so you kind of made it seem like I said
has probably been applied to Redact.dev.
this is your
agreed
example.
that
This is your
application
example
was
that you wanted to
there.
pull up. This is your example you wanted to pull up.
That's me. That was me talking about the fact that you were collecting like
Nope.
logs of somebody and their kids, and I'm just saying, yes, I understand that there are applications where people might want to escape the harassment.
This is what
of
you
a certain
said?
individual,
This is what you said?
but-
This is what you said in your
Yes.
post.
No, this is what I'm saying in this conversation.
What'd you say in the post then? Because you must have some evidence for that part, right?
Well, I mean, Destiny did quite literally after the.
You
leak
know that
happened.
Destiny used Redact? You sure you didn't use Undiscord or something else?
You know that he used on Discord.
You are the one making the affirmative
There's-
statements. I do not have to disprove God. You have to prove it. So I'm
Should
asking, do you
should I
know?
message Destiny and ask him, hey, did you specifically use Redact.dev to delete every link, pic, and video
Yes,
you
you
sent
should.
people?
I think that would be something prudent to do before you go and throw me under the bus. Yeah.
That is a pretty stupid standard considering the state that
The
Destiny
standard of doing any journalistic anything whatsoever. So to be clear, what you have is you think that Destiny deleted a lot of shit. You think he used my program to do it. And your example of it being a bad thing is me giving an example of why it's good to protect yourself. All you've done, dude, is you fucking literally just like full on libeled my program with no evidence whatsoever. Your fucking feelings. That's
so
it.
are you denying that Destiny used
Yes.
Redact?
Yes, I'm denying it. Now what do you have to say? Because you've made these statements.
So Destiny has not used Redact to delete.
Well, I have no idea. It's a privacy first
Okay,
program. I
so-
don't know. I don't know who uses it. That's the way it's
Yeah,
designed. I don't know who uses anything. That's the way it's set up. But you apparently do know. So how do you know
Well, I mean,
this?
sure, you can still have knowledge besides that. Like, has Destiny not like recommended it on stream before? I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Does that mean that he uses it?
I feel like
he's been like, yeah.
I
he's
feel like
before,
the-
it worked good for me. He's not ever said that. On
I
stream.
feel like
No, I don't think so. But if you find an example I can see it, that'd be great. We're also talking about a certain instance right now where you're saying that was happening. And I just say, like, if you have proof of this, I'd like to see it.
as far as him deleting stuff,
Well, you made a very aggressive statement here, right? And you have no proof for it whatsoever. So you basically
Like,
just
I'm
are full on libaling.
again, I would
Again,
just
again.
say,
Yeah.
do you think that Redact is in any way, shape, or form an escape hatch for sex criminals.
I think it is as much as Microsoft Windows is. It is a privacy tool. Like Windows
is not a privacy tool.
Is cryptocurrency a tool for pedophiles? Is cash used for drug dealing?
Yes, cryptocurrency is a very effective tool for pedophiles.
Okay, I can't even have this conversation with you because what you're
this
Wait,
is true.
I think it's fair. If you're not aware, like that could be like one of the downfalls of cryptocurrency. That it's
sure
trades in certain scenarios. It's like you're ignorant. No.
Okay, this is like saying because someone has a bank that they are enabling drug dealing and fucking all that shit because they have a bank. This is like the dumbest fucking shit I've heard of all time. It doesn't get stupider than this, and you know it. And you're being sensationalist to try and get fucking views on your shit, and it's annoying. Honestly, I don't know you,
Okay.
and you're saying you're saying libelous shit. Okay, just flat out untrue shit. You want to say that I said something? I've said plenty of stupid stuff. Hold my feet to the fire. Okay, but when you just say stuff that's not true, it's fucked up.
I mean, you did walk in here completely denying the idea that it was an escape hatch for sex criminals. And then when asked about that further, you have compared Redact to Windows as if there's any relation between the function of those two different entities, if you want to call them that.
Are you fucking with me right now?
Do you think that Redact is anything like Windows?
It is a utility, the same as Windows. Yes, it is.
Okay, so is water. Do you think Windows is like water?
No, I don't think Windows is like
water. Okay,
water
so I'm
is
glad you can
element.
make some distinction between different things that have different utilities. Okay. You just can't make a distinction between Windows and Redact.
Is it better analogy like the dark web, where like it could be used for good, but also it's used for a lot of bad stuff also?
No, you have to be on the affirmative there. I can say that 99% of the usage of our product, if not more, is on the up and up and good for just legitimate privacy reasonings. And he's making it seem like it's the opposite of that, okay? Just like it's the case with cash. 99% of it is used for normal, everyday purposes, but he's coming out here saying the alternative of that. That is the fucked up part of what's being said here, okay? That's the issue that I have with it.
Okay, Dan kind of took away my argument too. That's what I'm saying. I have the issue because I'm the average person using Redact or even using any sort of like log deleting software. It's going to be just some company doing it for all their employees. It's not going to be like even the average person. It's going to be just a mass amount of people using it to wipe a bunch of information that was sent across DMs through their employees for whatever reason or whatever conversation they were having because they don't need that logged anywhere, and it's just taking up space. I doubt that it's even like some underground pedo ring that's using it. And when I saw your tweet, Sick, and the reason why I was like, oh, okay, we gotta get Sick on, I was like, oh, okay, this guy is now just what I felt like so I'm saying with like this Destiny derangement syndrome, I feel like a lot of people are like kind of taking everything now that's related to Destiny, and it's now linked to some weird underground railroad for sex.
I'm willing to amend my statement.
Yeah,
I'm willing to amend it.
Well, even if
I can shorten it down to Redact is an escape hatch for sex criminals. Redact facilitates the cover of revenge porn and its distributors. I think those two statements, whether or not that is the most common usage, both of those things are true.
Well, would you say like pickles are used for masturbation just because like a couple women have used it in like their porn videos? It's like it's not like you wouldn't even if you say I guess that's true. Like yeah, it's used to masturbation. That doesn't mean it is like a masturbation tool, and you can just say like okay, yeah, let's just.
I think one of the problems.
If you want to be fair, at least if you're just being like you said sensational, or you're just like. Trying to jerk off the idea that like anything related to Destiny sucks. That's not fine. It's bad, but it's like you just have to admit that that's what's happening.
No, I think Destiny has done a bunch of awful shit, and I have specifically honed in on that. The stuff related to his recent discoveries of sharing revenge porn, allegedly, since Dan is here, and secretly recording people allegedly during sexual acts.
I'm glad they were trying to throw in fucking allegeds for this shit, but not when you're fucking.
No, because I'm doing it because you're going to be annoying otherwise.
It's not about being annoying. What you're doing is annoying. This is just obnoxious right now. Actually, no. What you're doing is not annoying. It's just fucking full on libelous shit. I don't know how you get off saying the shit you did.
Dan, base.
What was that?
Okay, so Do you think there you have kind of challenged me here, which is I didn't message Destiny and ask or confirm if he used Redact specifically as a program to delete things from his messages. And so do you think if I message Destiny at all, if I even have that capability, I think I do on Twitter, maybe. Well, not now, he blocked me, but that he would even answer that question?
You know, there's actually this definition of what constitutes libel, and one of the steps is with such a wanton disregard for the truth and inability to go and seek it out, that it actually crosses the line into being like more dangerous of a thing. You know that? When you do so little research, so little of anything, that you just think you just put some bullshit out there with your face attached to it too. This is fucking wild to me.
I mean, didn't you do similar things with JStock inside of Spicy Chat? If that's the case, JStock has his Russell logs removed, and then you're talking about the fact that they exist.
Are we
elsewhere.
talking about JStock right now? Do I own every website that logs DGG? No, I don't.
Before you brought
own
up libel, we weren't talking about libel.
Oh,
was
I am
specifically asking you about. Yeah, I understand you are, because you keep wanting to change it to that.
Oh, okay. I thought that we were talking about that. Sorry.
Okay, so Redact is on the record not used at all by sex criminals as an escape hatch, and it's on the record not used at all.
You know what? I could say that 100% because we have no information whatsoever about any of the uses of our thing. So actually, I can 100%
okay, that seems weird that you can deny something happening because you intentionally don't collect data on users.
Are you fucking with me right now? Because we intentionally collect zero data, you're trying to make it seem like we are bad? Are you out of your fucking mind?
No, I'm saying your argument doesn't make sense, that you're definitively denying.
Hello?
You got sick
Did he cut off?
for me.
Hello? Is it just me and Prawn? Oh, wait, Dan's here?
I'm here.
Okay, hey. Also, we added Rob Noerr to the conversation. I felt like it was a little bit too much of a dog pile. Rob Noerr came in.
I feel like I've been hard on Rob Noerr in the past. This may not be...
Come on, with this topic, you're going to talk about hard on? Come on.
All right.
I don't even know if we've ever interacted, Dan.
I know. I've given you a hard time for no reason. But now, with so many people not left, I gotta take.
What's the nature? Let me ask you this, Dan. What's the nature? You said that there's a pile on, because I might actually defend you. So am I joining the pile against someone else, or what's?
Well,
so
my understanding is that I was going to do a 1v3 here, kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style. But it seems like that Sick was kind of getting that treatment here because, again, me and Dan don't agree with what he was saying, especially about Redact. And I know that Prawn was telling me that you seem to be on the side of fuck Destiny. You should go to hell.
My criticism's actually, okay. So, to be
that last part, I said you criticism myself.
Yeah, okay. My criticism is clearly this violated someone's consent, but everybody has to make their own decision of what's going on. My criticism, Destiny's already blacklisted me because he gets tired of getting his ass beat in debates. That's just what he does. I think he was already despicable before this. Primarily his comments about the assassination, not really the Cory Compatore stuff, but when he was asked directly by his co-host Pisco, did he want that bullet to kill Trump? He said, quote, I don't know what I could say because of terms of service, but the worst thing that could happen was that bullet missing and not killing him. To Pisco's defense, he said that was heinous. This wasn't a joke. I tried to give Destiny the benefit of the doubt, but it's clear based on his comments, then furthering this with the Luigi stuff, that he hasn't changed his mind. So I was blacklisted from his community. That's fine. But real quick, as a right-winger, anytime that I'm going to debate, the truth is Destiny's very influential, and most of the online space is dominated by his orbiters. And so my question then becomes, well, what's my interaction going to... Go ahead.
Is that true? I don't think a lot of his orbiters dominate the online space. I feel like I guess Turkey Tom kind of was an orbiter of his, but like Chud was not an orbiter at all of Stevens.
No. I don't do drama. And so my debates are like policy debates.
Oh, you politics?
Yes.
I guess like outside of politics, there's like Hassan and there's Destiny. So I guess adjacent.
Yeah, Hassan ain't debating many people.
Yeah.
I think he likes his little bubble. So it's either Destiny orbiters or shitty Destiny clones. I always like debating Destiny, but regardless, neither here nor there. So it was interesting, and it's sort of like a fucking Steve Wilkos show episode, but you know the people involved. And so there is like some Schadenfreude to it. It would be similar that when you hear these stories of, really strong anti-homosexual Christians that then get caught, in gay relationships. That's sort of Destiny, the master of consent, the relationship master, then turning out all of his red pill shit was bullshit, and he was a lot of what he was accusing others of being. There is Schadenfreude to it. But my question is, what are the Orbiters doing? And here's where I'll defend Dan somewhat. I sort of everyone has to come up with their own conclusion. How bad do you think this is? I think it is a defensible position to say, I think this is fucking grotesque, but he's my friend, I'm going to stick it out. And that, to me, is a more acceptable position, which might piss people off, than I'm going to read the tea leaves. And when I knew about this and believed it when it was private, that's nice. I knew about it and believed it when it was private. I said nothing. I kept working with him. But now that it's public, I'm going to have to publicly distance myself. Why? What is this? Is this what these streams are just ass shaking?
We're on.
It's a kick thing, but this is like how we keep the audience engaged. We increase the view count. Listen, it's just like you could, if you don't like it, it's like anti thing. You could right click, do disable camera, and it'll keep her out of there. But I think you probably like that. So
that's fine. There, I put my camera up now. Your audience can be engaged by my beautiful face.
Okay.
I don't have to shake my ass.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there, but
can I just ask that we, just as a random thing, pull up Destiny's Twitter profile real quick?
Yeah, I can pull it up real quick for you.
Looking for the Redact cat. It's going to be there.
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
and?
Okay, so I want to say at least there is, at the very least, an endorsement of Redact.
That is true. It's a perfect, outstanding privacy product.
Okay,
I don't know what this Redact shit is. Who are you talking about?
I just, because Dan is going to he's going to literally focus on this because it's his company. So he has a vested interest in countering this specifically. I don't
like that you keep like political dissidents. I don't like that you for instance, Redact was recently banned. Redact was recently banned in Turkey, and that is a majority not Jewish, not American country, as you may know. There's a lot of people there that I may not agree with. And you know what we did is we went out, we made the product completely free for Turkey as a result of that, because we give a shit about privacy.
You just heard me. You're like, no, Destiny's never endorsed my product. Now it's giving some receipts, some evidence.
What? I didn't say
that.
No, I said that I don't know that he used it, and neither do you.
No, I asked earlier, has Destiny ever said hey, it's a good product, I've used this before?
And I said yes.
That never happened.
No, I did not say that. Go ahead, pull up the log. You can't just do this. You can't just pull shit up, say that I said that when I did it.
I'll rewind it.
You can rewind it. Go ahead, do it.
I don't remember ever saying that Destiny didn't endorse it, but I do remember him saying that.
I like this TV. Yeah, he's absolutely endorsed it. He's talked about it 100 times. I've talked about it 100 times.
I have stickers. I have a sticker
on my thing.
Yeah, so it's
But the accusation here is, for those of us that don't know, the accusation here is Dan has a company, and whether or not Destiny ever endorsed it, and maybe that influences Dan's stance on this.
No, it's basically So I have a company that is a privacy company that deals with letting you control your data across 30 different services. So like Discord, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, et cetera, et cetera. So you can go and say, go delete all of my political content in the last 4 years, or just go wipe all of my Discord messages with this person, or go delete all of my Skype conversations altogether before 2014. Like, it doesn't matter. You can kind of give it these rules specifically, and it can go and do that. And that can do that as a one-off job, or you can do it as a schedule, so you can only keep like a running 7 days of shit. Now, of course, the narrative that SIC here is trying to push is that Redact has been set up specifically as a company to facilitate this behavior as its primary goal. Number one, that's what it's made to do. He said that this is why it exists, everything, and I've countered that saying that that is not true. That is libelous fucking shit to say. And it's about as stupid to say is Cash's main purpose is to buy whores and cocaine, and that it serves no other purpose. And that's kind of the point that we're at.
Real quick. So when they say this is the main purpose, they say that to
this guy right here with the red headphones.
What you're saying is that the purpose of Dan's company is to erase people doing heinous shit like what Destiny allegedly did? Is that what you're saying?
I've already said in this call that I am willing to amend my statement a second time to just Redact is an escape hatch for sex criminals. Redact facilitates the cover of revenge porn and its distributors.
But do you think that a product like that's inherently bad? It seems like there's utility in non-immoral.
No, I think that through inference, through things that Destiny has done, such as wipe logs, through the association that he is an endorser of Redact, that it would be crazy to think that Dan, his friend, Destiny would not be using his program to wipe those logs.
I have no idea if he has or hasn't, because
you can
we are
keep
set up
saying
to be privacy focused.
you can keep saying you have no idea. That's fine. That's fine. But then I don't know why you're saying I can definitively say this doesn't happen because we don't collect data on it.
Well, I can say that you don't know definitively. Let me adjust my statement. I can say that what you said is false and untrue. How about that?
No, you can't say that's false and untrue too because you don't collect data on it.
So we're arguing over God here right now, and I'm like, he exists for real.
No, I'm
and
just
you're
saying
like, no,
we're at
he
a
doesn't.
stalemate here. I'm just saying we're at a stalemate here.
No, you're saying something happened. I'm saying I can't know if it happened or not. I'm
No,
agnostic,
we are at
and
a
you're a
stalemate.
believer.
We're
No,
at an
we're not.
impasse, and
You
just
are
won't
saying
accept it.
something. You're saying something with no data, and I'm saying that the data doesn't exist to make that statement. That is very clearly what's the case. I am agnostic about it because I can't know, and I know that you can't know. Yet you have made an affirmative statement that you do know when it is impossible for you to know.
I mean, this seems like a conversation. Like, I have nothing to add to this. Like, it seems like a one-on-one conversation about the nature of these sorts of products, as opposed to anything revolving around Dan's relationship with Destiny, right?
Like, yeah, shit on me all you want for staying around.
Not
and
really, no. I think it's pretty obvious that if there's a program Destiny's going to use to wipe his logs, it's going to be Redact.
Yeah, but you can delete your messages one by one in Discord. Is Discord facilitating this then?
Are you actually trying to make this argument? Now you're trolling me. Destiny is going to go hand delete all of his shit.
I mean, it doesn't have to hand delete everything, right? He just has to delete the bad messages, right? So again,
you know.
Would you say that
Discord's only
Discord
going to load a certain set of messages at a time, and then he'd have to scroll, make
There's a
sure
search
he's got
function,
every conversation.
Has video right there. That's it.
I don't know.
This is gone from Destiny.
No,
is not, this is gone from Destiny is not using Redact to. I don't know that Destiny is using Redact. He could be using something else. To there's a chance that Destiny is hand deleting his messages and going through all of his conversations, specifically finding where he's ever had an image or video or stuff.
Yeah, all these things are pretty much completely true. Yeah, I've said nothing false, and you said.
I watched back. I asked, "Hey, Dan, has Destiny ever endorsed this product?" You're like, "No," and then 5 minutes later, you're like, "Oh, he has done that. He has done that." But I want to clarify this pattern of maybe not being.
Who gives a fuck? I don't understand the utility of this conversation. Like this would be like if Dan owned a paper shredding company. Yeah, Dan's argument's stupid. You could cut each paper by scissors, but who gives a fuck in the greater grand scheme of things? Dan seems to have a product that I would find utility in, and I ain't sending non-consensual sexual photos to anyone.
I ain't never sent no dick photo ever. Never will. Never going to.
I don't know. I think that there's things that Here, let me criticize Dan. Here's a point that I criticize.
Nah, Dan. I got enough. You don't need.
Here we go. Well,
no, you're honestly, it's fine. You don't have to. I appreciate it.
A legitimate question I have is, like, the question I have is, you seem to suggest that you think that if you didn't think Destiny was a changed person, you would end your relationship with him. So what have you seen from him? Because all of his publicly outward shit seems to be that he's taking this as a fucking joke, and that messages on Discord. Go ahead.
Why are you allowed if he was to feel that way? Why are you allowed that information for him personally to feel like he's changed? If he has a private friendship with him and they've privately talked about stuff, does he have to tell you his private relationship with his friend? Like, why would you?
Does Dan have to?
Yeah.
Dan doesn't owe me shit. He could say, I don't want to talk about this. That's fine. But he's talking about it.
I actually, every time I talk about this, I end up regretting it. So I've made my statement before, and it wasn't a positive statement for Steve. Like, in fact, that was like the #1 post on LSF that was negative towards him. So I've made my statement on this, and I don't want to talk anymore about it. But
that's fine.
Yeah,
you can understand.
I'll leave it at this. I've known him for 15 years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's it pretty much. Actually, that's all I have. Then
I think that if you're friends with someone, you tend to see the best in them. I would even go this far. Like, there's a lot of, I don't fucking understand. I don't hang out with any of you people. I'm not in the community, right? So there's a lot of accusations that people have said in the past of potential shit that Destiny was doing, weird shit with ladies and stuff. I never even gave a shit. It's like, you hear rumors about people on my side of things. I assume you're all lefties. Destiny certainly is. I heard people tell me everything you could believe about. Don't interact with this Destiny dude. He did this. He threatened to harm this person. He did this. He did that. Whatever. Until I personally see it, I'm not looking for this sort of drama, right? But to the point where Destiny's all but admitted it, I guess that changes, at least the Pixie allegations, that changes the calculus somewhat, you know. And for me, that's you. I think I could totally understand saying, I'm his friend, I don't believe this shit. And then once you believe it, you're like, I'm his friend, I still want to see the best in him. My question becomes, and I don't think this is you, but I would like to talk to people like, you know, that I've dealt with, like maybe Pisco, or maybe, you know, some other people that had business relationships with him. They're like, well, you know, I'm leaving the door open if he changes. Well, what are the signs you're looking for? Because a lot of this reeks of, Destiny's my cash cow. Destiny gets clicks for me. And so I don't want to burn a bridge, because what if everyone forgives him and everyone moves on a year from now? I want to have that opportunity. So I guess my question to you then, Dan, is, do you find that repugnant as well? Like, shit or get off the pot. If you fucking want to bury this guy, then bury him, but don't like half-ass it and just.
I've already.
He's already said this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm also Destiny's best friend, and like I also am doing a show now where I've taken away from kind of JSTOK's kind of after hours, and I'm doing this despite not even wanting to interact with a lot of you people. I'm gonna do it because I feel like there's a bad dialogue going on afterwards in the stratosphere of what is going on with this content. I mean, I personally and people have called me a big sweeper, a big sweep guy, a big broomer for Destiny, because I'm bringing people on and kind of talking to them about their kind of like exaggeratory or kind of like insane.
I think the word there, by the way, Darius, it's exaggerated. Exaggerated
claims of Destiny, and I mean, like, and that's not sweeping. It's more just I feel like if we're going to talk about what happened, you could talk about what happened in the most like real way possible. Steven did unconsensually shared the Pixie stuff. That is what's confirmed. That's what's there. Everything else that's tangential to that, we don't know about. But though we can't call Destiny this e-rapist, this like groomer, weird rape guy that everyone else is doing, like on JSTOK, or even like on even Ryan Beard's thing where he's talking about how Destiny was fucking like 15-year-olds. It's like all this stuff is just like ridiculous, and it feels like there's no platform right now to talk about like kind of like what the actual things that have happened and what we currently have. And I don't know. And it's not because I feel like I need to like prepare the relationship, because Destiny could be fine in like a year, and me and Destiny could be playing League of Legends. You know, I could be pulling like 10K viewers with him, and like we're just on anything else, just like chopping it up. It's more just like it's just annoying to watch. It's annoying to like watch people just like fall into this weird trap that it seems like even Hassan fans are going into, where they're just like exaggeratory towards anybody that's like anti whatever they're going for. Like, you think this guy's anti-woman? Okay, this guy's the worst sexual predator, whatever that ever existed. Okay, this guy doesn't like, this guy did something bad. Okay, he is literally like Hitler. It's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that it's a fair criticism that people will take it too far. You understand why, though. Destiny's a quite abrasive person that's probably rankled a lot of people, particularly people on the right or people from the Hassan section of the left. And so there's a lot of people with an axe to grind, whether legitimately or illegitimately. But I agree. I think that one of the things I've tried to say, as disgusting as I think this all is for Destiny, and certainly the accusations coming from Cherry are worse, you have to keep them in perspective. And all of us need to answer, like, how bad is this? It's fucking bad, but how bad is it? I mean, it's not sexual assault bad. It's not, you know what I mean? And so yeah. I think that now I can't speak to the specific people you've said that are accusing him of some of the worst things, but I don't mind people that are trying to set the record straight. The problem becomes, I think, with, some of the shit I've seen. I haven't seen either Darius, you or Dan much on this, but, like two people I interact with, Brianna Wu and Connor, when I see them talk about this, it's like, oh, well, Destiny suffered trauma in the past, and Destiny's so talented, and fuck Mr. Girl, he's a piece of shit, and fuck Lab, she's a piece of shit. Oh, yeah, and I guess what Destiny did was bad. And it's like, you can transparently see what's going on there. It's like, if you're going to do a stream talking about how bad it is, talk about how bad it is. If you're going to do a stream saying, like, okay, we've talked about that, now let's talk about how people are making it worse, that's cool too, I guess.
Well, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be calling you out, but like, even like, you've seen like even Pisco has been like, yeah, it kind of sucks that he was in this situation, and this whole thing fucking sucks. I have to cut ties with him because I can't be associated with this. It seems like the common response. I mean, I didn't see the Brianna Wu response, but I've seen people like Pisco, who I know you've seen, and he's completely cut ties with Steven, and he's lost probably a ton of money because he had to completely destroy his whole setup he had in New York that was all planned around him and Steven's show, all because of this whole situation. And it seems like the people in these spheres, they're not just like trying to be like, oh, well, it sucks, but other people are worse. And Pisco had that one tweet or whatever that was like, at least he's not like, he was talking to Anna Kasparian or whatever. And he was,
Rob, how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
About what's that? Oh, him Pisco talking about Anna? Like,
At least Trump didn't do this, that response.
Yeah, and I don't believe it's a
leave Darius finish.
Yeah, I would say I don't believe that's a minimalization of things. It's more just like, okay, well, this is different. I have to cut this guy's ties because he's done something, and I don't want to be associated with this while I'm trying to do political things. But I don't.
You understand that's different than
that's what I'm taking. That's what I'm taking from it. That's at least what I'm taking from it. And
I didn't necessarily get that. Let me be clear. There's two possibilities of this interpretation. There is, I'm cutting ties with him because I found this to be something that morally I can't be connected to, versus I'm cutting ties because I think it'll hurt my business. Those are two different things. Politically, now I'm trying to do something in real world politics, so I can't be connected.
Well, his business.
I'm not saying either are wrong, but
to be fair, though, his business is his morals. He's talking about politics and exactly what his beliefs are, and how he believes the world should be. So I think
no, I don't buy that. Your business is your morals, bullshit. And so Destiny's business is his morals, so it's failing.
It is low key, and also his business isn't failing, but his business would be his morals is just fact finding, and that's why it is doing good. Is he goes ahead and spends his time to do research papers, do all these things, look into what he's talking about, and that's why he does well. People like to watch his takes on things. Pisco wants his business to be something similar, where he is going ahead, he is fact finding, he is going ahead and looking into the things he believes in, and he is advocating for those things. And if Destiny is like hurting his beliefs, and he is attacking him, and no, it's not attacking him, but he is affecting them and how he's going to go about it, he has to cut ties with him because he can't. I
think those are two different things, and I don't think that either are indefensible. But I think saying, "Look, I'm trying to do a political business, and being associated with this guy will hurt my business," is a different statement than I think what he did was so immoral that I can't be associated with it. I read it as the first Pisco statement. I suspect it may be the latter, but I thought his statement leaned more towards, it's a moral thing as opposed to it's a business decision.
Sure. Again, I think it's like it's hard to tell because it's like this is a really weird niche like workplace we're in. But just going off of like how I view Pisco is his views are very much aligned to how he goes ahead and does his business, which is that. And I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep repeating that, and I know that's not a sufficient answer for you, but I do heavily believe that Pisco is trying to do a political thing, which involves a lot of his personal beliefs and how he goes about stuff. And Destiny's lifestyle is affecting that heavily, and he cannot have that guy around if he is going to continue to do it. And he doesn't know Destiny well enough to be able to say, "Hey, this is going to affect me in the future or not."
Real quick, I'll do this in 10 seconds. So if that would change, if all of a sudden it would benefit his political show more than it would hurt it, then Pisco would be back on board in your estimation?
I don't think so. I think someone like me, I think I have similar political beliefs to Pisco, but I don't think Pisco would let me around because of who I am as a streamer and how I live my lifestyle and how chaotic I am. I feel like people that are even if they have the same beliefs as him, if they are living like a weird lifestyle or they're chaotic, he's not going to let them just around on his show or like start propping them up. And again, the same thing. Not to say I'm the same person as Destiny, but like. Again, like I live a chaotic lifestyle. I am very notorious online. I've done a lot of not sketchy things, but like things that could be interpreted negatively. It's like, okay, it's. All right, we get it. Let me answer. I don't live a lifestyle
because I see again. Pisco is completely. I think he's good to cut ties, but I think if anything, like Pisco had like the most to lose in some ways. It seemed like he invested a lot in that New York space. Seems like in some way he's like sacrificing his at least short-term political career by cutting Destiny off. So I feel like he did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, here's my view. I have one question when it comes to any of these, whether I'm going to make any sort of moral evaluations myself. And that is, when you knew and believed these accusations, when did you know and believe them? And if you knew while they were private and you didn't cut ties, but now that it's public, you did cut ties, what changed? Because if the argument is, well, because it was affecting my business, then fuck you. I find that immoral. If the argument is, well, once I heard more accusations from people like Cherry come forward, or once I saw Destiny's commentary publicly on this, I realized it was too much. That's different. From my understanding, and reaching out to Pisco, he was not in the loop with Dan. Maybe Dan, you could confirm, or Erudite or anyone else. This was a total shock to him. He never heard about the Pixie allegations until basically President Sunday made that video. And if that's the case, I can't find fault in what Pisco did. Now, we'll see if he goes back to Destiny later, and then maybe there'll be criticism to be had based on how that occurs. To Pisco's specific tweet here, yeah, I mean, this does come across as sweeping a little. I see that the point he's making, he's frustrated. Most of you all having a really bad time right now. Go MAGA, go Trump. So just like after the assassination attempt, we saw the spiraling from people like Destiny there, where he's making those shit comments. I think people are spiraling because they see this as a big cultural and political loss. And so from that perspective, even though I would disagree, I understand why people are harmed and hurt by this. And Pisco feels that Anna is one of the lefties that helped Trump get elected by her sort of milquetoast takes. And so I understand him lashing out because hearing something. I don't know, I was hearing something there. But anyways, so I understand he's kind of like, yeah, okay, I condemned Destiny. What about you? What about you with Trump? But it does reek of whataboutism in ways that deserve to be called out. Because taking a political stance on a person is different than being a close associate with someone you believe is literally a sex pest. Is that a fair term? That to me, that seems different. And so I'm not so sure about this comment of Pisco. I don't think it's a good look for him. But I understand where he's coming from. I do. And full disclosure, I like Pisco. I actually know him. I've interacted with him a lot. And so I'm biasly hoping the best for him. So it would be a shame if I find out that he's just...
You know what? I don't like Pisco, okay? He in front of me when we were doing
I was just about to
show,
say.
I'm not a fan, okay? I'm not a fan. That's all I'm going to say. This motherfucker in front of me tried to play me. He was like trying to be like getting Steve to move to New York right in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? And he's like, the studio in New York, it'd be cool. He's like, you understand I do a show with this motherfucker, right? And he's like, oh, no, it wouldn't be like that. It's like, what the fuck is it going to be like, motherfucker? What do you mean? And he's like, well, it's just like, you should do a show in New York right in front of me. The fucking balls on this motherfucker. I couldn't fucking believe it. But,
maybe
whatever.
you should have some bigger balls with a more thorough condemnation, huh? If he had those balls to say that in front of you. Did he know? Did he know about the Pixie shit?
How the fuck should I know?
You're all in the same room. Apparently, at some point, talking. Erudite knew, you knew, people that are involved.
Hold up. You're not dragging me into this conversation, but this whole you knew thing. When I found out from Lonerbox that this was all happening, the first thing I did was message Pixie and call her and say how sorry I was. That's when I fucking found out. Okay?
Well, let me be clear. When I'm saying you knew, I'm not suggesting you knew for months and months and months. I'm saying sometime before it became public, you knew of this. Pisco's claiming he didn't. And so he's in an unfortunate position where everyone, it seems like you that had a show with Destiny, you knew. Erudite that had a show with Destiny, she knew. And so people were just going to unfairly jump to the conclusion, well, Pisco has a show with Destiny. He must have heard the backstage drama. Which I don't think that's a fair, just even if Pisco and Erudite said they knew, I wouldn't say, well, then I guarantee Dan knew. People's relationships with different shows could be totally different. I don't know, but I was just asking you if you ever had a conversation with him, like if this was being discussed and you're like, I don't know, so clearly you didn't. That's all I was asking. But I'm not accusing you of knowing before you. Listen, and I know people really want me to shit on Destiny a lot, but... You hear these fucking rumors about these people that are big personalities. You hear this shit. And a lot of times for me, it's just in one ear and out the other. So if I'm in Dan's perspective and you hear grumblings like, oh, Destiny filmed himself having sex with this and that person. Dan, I'm guessing your perspective as a friend, as a business partner is like, who gives a fuck? Whatever. It's just more bullshit rumors. And people could question whether or not, if you're a close friend, if you should have done more or not. I really don't give a shit about that. For me, I feel terrible for Pixie, I feel terrible for Cherry if that's true. Anyone else? But I'm not really in the game of like everyone should have fucking knew this was. I think Destiny's a shitty person for different reasons, but I think a lot of people are shitty. If you're in the streamer world, there's a 95% chance you're shitty. I'm shitty. So but clearly the consent shit's to a different level, and you can't be faulted for. You should have known everything about this dude's personal life. Now, if we'd later find out that you were fucking slipping Mickeys or something at some party, that's a different different shit going on. But I don't think that, I don't know. I have friends that are probably up to deviant sexual shit. I don't fucking know. We're talking about football and stuff when I'm hanging out. So
Amazing. So going back into a specific conversation, I'm so sorry to ignore everything you just said. Whatever happened with the resolution of the Sick and the Dan thing? So are we on the same page real quick that Redact does not support sex criminals? If he did know, and even if, let's say, Dan, the CEO, did know that sex criminals were using his website, he'd probably make sure they couldn't use the website ever again.
Is that what Dan says? If he found out that sex criminals were using it to cover up their crimes, he wouldn't allow them to use his program?
I would not want those people to use my program. I would not.
I didn't ask if you want them to.
Well, the problem,
I asked if you
understand.
They don't collect data, right?
I don't collect any data, so I'm not in a position to stop them. Is the problem, right? Like, I don't want people buying bugs with cash. Like, what do you want me to do? Like, there's literally nothing I can do unless I start collecting data on users, which we're not going to do. We collect fucking nothing.
There is
if you came to awareness that was like an issue that's being used for like illicit things, you would do nothing to stop that. Because you're like, you can't.
Is what?
You became aware it was being used for illicit stuff. You would do nothing.
The only thing it can do is remove content. It can't create content.
Yeah, it can't like back up stuff. Which is what I also noticed JSTOK was kind of claiming in SpicyChat, I believe, and I think Sick mentioned this as well, which I was frustrated by. I know JSTOK is like a new DGGer, so it doesn't understand it, but I've been for a minute. We got Polecat, we got Russell Search, we had some other logs, over Russell logs. We had a couple of other.
But this is why like the whole thing didn't make sense. Like, it wasn't even like anything to do. There is no like Redact does not have any archiving system on a web server anywhere.
I didn't ever say Redact archives anything.
Well, I mean, it can to your computer if you set it up that way, but not to any.
No. I'm just saying I never made that claim because it sounds like that. Okay.
Well, I'm more attacking as for me personally, just JSTOK's weird kind of assessment of things, and also other people that may think this as well. There's a ton of other website loggings for multiple channels. I know, just as being in here for like a decade or so that I've been, I remember 16 different websites where you can go ahead and look up logs for like 4 different channels, specifically Vosh GG and also DGG. I don't even remember the names of them, but there's so many things to back up logs of yours that even if you delete it or redact it, it could still exist somewhere else that you don't fucking know about. So to claim I feel like, I don't know if this was 100%, but that's what I got the vibes from, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong. It seems like JSTOK was claiming that Redact does archive it, and you do have logs that have been archived.
Yeah, that's completely untrue.
Yeah,
right? Like millions of people use our software, and literally millions, by the way. And like, you think that fucking all the people in the world that are going to discover some big conspiracy, it's going to be fucking SICunchained, like seeing through the matrix, being like, oh yeah, there's an archive server going on. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and then also I saw the cherry log thing that so I saw six tweet. We were talking about Cherry's VODs. I'm assuming that's just from, again. So what was the purpose of mentioning that? And also, because I don't know the context of why you were saying that. And also, if you do have her VODs, again, it's like through normal means. Like, you could just go through, again. I mean, you already explained it, but what was the purpose of saying you had possession of Cherry's VODs?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
When the fuck did I say I had Cherry's VODs? No, JSTOK said
at some point. Dan Stream at some point made threatening comments regarding possession of VODs.
Oh, this is Sick's statement, which is not true. Once again, completely taken out of fucking. I don't even want to say taken out of context because it's not even based on reality. So what happened is
no, that it actually is very directly based on the fact that JSTOK said inside of SpicyChat, apparently, not allegedly. Do you think Destiny made a smart move by leaking Cherry's logs this week? Do you think you made a smart move by implying you have her VODs today? That's
never. Yeah, so that was an issue that misunderstood.
JSTOK went on stream. He specifically said that this part, the first paragraph or whatever, was specifically misinformation, and I have since not redacted it, but I have amended that.
That would be a good start. But you know what? Honestly, I can't fault you. You know what I mean? You gotta get the drama content. And this is the this is the top food chain.
My claim is understanding that now, and also okay. So when you think of like JSTOK and how he's like exaggerating and over exaggerating things, does it at any point in your mind? So this is where I go sick. So when I see people like JSTOK saying stuff like this, and then other people like you are taking it and it's like, oh, Dan's been backing up all the logs with all these other people, blah, 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 blah. Does it maybe at any point in your mind, like maybe saying, okay, maybe JSTOK is a little bit too like, either invested or he's too like deranged on this topic, where maybe I can like, when he says stuff, instead of like taking it verbatim as he says, or trying to think into it, I could maybe be like, okay, this guy has a bias, and he also may be saying a little bit of fact, but it might not be exactly as he says.
Listen, this is like on deaf ears, because it's not like this guy is here trying to tell us. You're not a truth teller, are you? Well, you're kind of like he's trying to get a little bit of views, are we not?
No,
I'm not looking at Walter Cronkite here, right? It's not Walter Cronkite.
I have a Twitter account. I don't stream. I don't upload. I don't do any such thing. Yeah. Literally, the incentive you're trying to imply doesn't exist.
Okay. There's a question I have, right? Like, so I look back at left-wing Twitch debates, YouTube debate sphere, 2022, 2023, when all you were lefties here, right? Or Democrats in some shape or form. Is that correct?
I'm fully Trump now, 100% Trump all the way. That's it.
Oh yeah,
Zena's a Trumper
now. Yeah, okay. So it was funny, 2022, 2023, to see like so many left-wing politics streamers like Destiny. Like Destiny, leaning into the red pill shit because they couldn't defend the terrible human vegetable Biden administration. And so they were big into the red pill shit. And then it turns out he's doing all this shit about consent and relationships and shit like that. His personal life's fucking atrocious at the time, where he's basically doing in spirit the shit that he's very criticizing while he's doing all this red pill shit, which gets me to this point. Right, the sort of schadenfreude list. How do you all feel at the huge fucking L's you're taking, and the best defense you could muster is to do fucking drama streams about Destiny and Hassan nukes and all that shit? How fallen?
Hey, why the fuck I need you, Rob, okay? This is important, okay? We can be best friends after this.
The Groypers were on earlier.
Why the fuck has the far right not embraced the fucking Hassan content nuke? Is it because a Jewish man created it? You guys gotta, you can't ignore it. You gotta push it.
I can ignore it. I can tell you why. Because I respected Destiny and not Hassan. I don't give a fuck about him. That's it. Because I respected Destiny as an adversary, and Hassan is a himbo who doesn't.
Why would not want to cover his nuke?
You're not following what I'm saying. I'm saying, why are you not pushing the Hassan nuke from Ethan Klein? Why are you not getting more traction, more views? Why aren't you putting it out there? That needs to be on the Ben Shapiro show.
For what? What is the nuke? What, that Hassan talks to terrorists, that he has no fucking clue what he's talking about? He's a blatant hypocrite. Yeah, I knew all that before the nuke, and I never engaged with Hassan because he stays in a bubble. He's not influential. I hope that him.
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna hold on a second. That's not true. What you just said. He's hugely influential. He is directly promoted on the most popular streaming site as the safe new alternative for youth who want to get into politics. That is what is shoved down their throat. So don't say he's not influential.
I used the wrong word.
You criticize Destiny because like his Trump rally takes. Destiny said, I said Destiny. Hassan said worse, if not way worse stuff than that. So why would he not have the same level of criticism?
Hassan, like I did criticize when I heard about it, like the 9/11 shit. Criticized that when he said that, the bringing on basically a terrorist and being like, yeah, you're cool.
Not basically, and he's launched just full on Hamas propaganda videos with no propaganda, like the type of shit you would get banned on Kick, probably not on Rumble, definitely on YouTube if you did this. Like, so much so that, like, if you watch Ethan's video, he couldn't even fucking upload it how he wanted it because YouTube made him blur it. And that was broadcast live on Twitch. That's how bad Hassan is. He would put on Hassan propaganda and walk the fuck out of the room. That's what he would, or Hamas propaganda, sorry.
I mean, look, Hassan's shit. Again, the difference to me, why I can't speak for other right-wing creators. I don't know. The only reason, you want to know why I dove into the Destiny drama? You want to know the real truth? Was because when the video released of Destiny filleting a dude, every right-winger in the world was like, look at this dude. And so everyone in my audience was like, what do you think about this? And you can go back and watch what I said. I said, I fucking feel terrible for Destiny. I don't give a shit about his sexual orientation.
Who's talking about Destiny? Who gives a fuck about Destiny?
Give me a second. I'll explain why I'm bringing this up. That was the only reason I delved into any drama, because I said, yeah, it's shitty that he got shit released. Then when the Pixie allegations came, everyone was like, oh, you carried water for Destiny when that shit happened. But now when he violated someone's consent, that's why I talked about this. Otherwise, I'm not talking about drama. When I say Hassan's not influential, I misspeak. What I mean is he's not fucking talented. I'm more than happy for Hassan and the people that share his views to be the face of the Democratic Party. As the opposition to the Democrats, in the fact that I think that they're terrible, the more that Hassan's promoted by the Democrats, the better for people like me. Because he's a fucking idiot. He brings nothing to the table. He's absolute garbage, and everyone knows it. Now, to his credit, he does some things better than me. He may be a little better looking than me, which matters in this space. I think that he is a way better content creator than me in that knowing how to entertain the people that are his particular audience. And you can't take that away from him. You can't, even if his politics are dog shit. So I just haven't felt the need to weigh into Hassan shit when there's so much else going on in the world. And simultaneously, it doesn't sound like anything from the Ethan shit's earth-shattering that I didn't know. He's a fucking terrorist sympathizer. He said we deserve 9/11. He's fucking a hypocrite. He backstabs people that were supposed to be his friends. Yeah, I knew all that shit. What do you want me to say about it? What do you want other right-wingers? We're laughing at you all because all of this infighting between the left meanwhile, the Democrats can't keep up with the news cycle. Like, shouldn't you be bitching about deporting illegals or fucking the trans issue or whatever the fuck you guys care about? All of a sudden, it's now Hassan versus Destiny drama. It's hilarious to people like me. I'm happy to be just a small part of being on the periphery of it, because to me, it's just like, you don't have anything to say politically. It's just, fuck, we got to deal with all this drama.
I mean, I don't know about these other, I don't know how much Darius and Dan seriously engage with a lot of politics stuff. I know for me, I'm not on these drama streams that often. Like, I just came off of a debate panel about Trump and what he's saying about Gaza and all that stuff. Like, I've been covering the news.
This is why you're here, bro. No, I'm not even joking. I brought you here because I added Rob Noerr here, and you're supposed to be like the politics guy. Destroy his ass. Tell him how much of a joke Trump is. Come on. I could say it too, but I just can't think of it in my head. Go ahead, destroy his ass.
Yeah,
you go. Finish him right now.
You know all the arguments that Darius, you just can't remember them, sure.
I can, now. Because the Gaza thing's a fucking L. Do you not think that's an L?
Well, before we go into non-fun, because I know non-fun can't carry this conversation, I'm curious, Rob, how do you feel about the recent tariff updates with them kind of being rescinded? I'm curious about your take on that.
About what being rescinded?
The recent change in tariffs.
I'm sorry.
Across the board tariffs. It seems like they're moving away from across the board tariffs and more into agreements with the.
I'm sorry. I thought you said terrorist. I was like, holy shit, was there an attack or something I didn't know about? The tariffs. So, first off, the conversation about tariffs is I'm against tariffs, to start with. I think it was a mistake.
Sure, we all are.
To sort of, right? But the idea that it's just one-sided, just looking through an economic lens is not true, right? Tariffs, long-term, can actually create more jobs in the country. There is going to be short-term shock, though. It is going to cause the prices of things to happen. Theoretically, what would happen would be this. You have other countries that are tariffing, or that it's cheaper labor laws, so it's cheaper to produce there. You move your company to Spain or Mexico or whatever. You produce cheaper, you're selling products, your number one consumer base is the United States, so you send those to the United States and you're making profit. If the United States puts tariffs on that and that's your number one consumer base, you might say it's no longer profitable, so you move your business to the United States, which creates good paying jobs here because you're worried about those tariffs. So it can have that effect of bringing back manufacturing.
That's at the cost of other jobs, though, right? We acknowledge it's at the cost of other jobs because of things like exchange rate appreciation and the reduction in investment in other sectors and lower consumer after-tax income.
No, not necessarily. Of course, anytime
it's the most reasonable assumption.
That's not the most reasonable assumption. Anytime you're talking about creating businesses, there's obviously cross-sector things that occur that would cause diminishing businesses in other sorts of forms. But what we'd be talking about would be jobs that would be better than the ones that would be cost across forms, because these would be manufacturing jobs that would be products that formerly would have been higher wages here, but that weren't being paid. So in default, you would see that these would be jobs that would be wages that would be higher. And it would tend to be things that are manufacturing, because as opposed to it would be goods and things like that, as opposed to service, because you're not really tariffing services as much as stuff like. So in general, though, I'm still against I think that a world with more subsidies and tariffs is usually a worse off world. However, when you look at the political calculus of using a carrot stick approach and having to have a stick because our allies have taken advantage of us for so long, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to start to tell our allies that we're going to put tariffs, even if it means temporarily, hopefully short term, actually falling through to show that you mean business so you can get concessions out of them. I think that the political class in this country has sold out the American worker for years. At the end, it has benefited countries around the world, and that it's time that the countries that are supposed to be our allies realize that we're not going to be the world police and we're not going to be taken advantage of. Now, if it leads to long-term tariffs on like our allies in other countries that aren't reciprocal, in other words, like China's tariffing a lot of shit, so if we tariff back, that's one thing. But if it leads to like long-term tariffs, Canada, Mexico, and shit that's non-reciprocal, yeah, I think that would be a bad thing.
Okay, so I just want to focus. Wait, I just want to focus on one specific thing. I think tariffs used as a negotiation tool is relatively nuanced. Usually, what I want, I just want to make people like the bullet, which Rob kind of half bit, that tariffs are usually economically harmful, and then we can discuss, you know, basically the calculus of how likely do I think Trump is to follow through on the tariff threat versus how likely is he to get the concessions out of these other countries and how good those concessions are. I just want to ask Rob. I'm tired, so forgive me if I'm using technical terms. I can't use my brain power to dumb it down. Okay. If we are artificially changing the relative profitability of sectors, right? A tariff makes it relatively more profitable to invest in the protected industry than it is to invest in the other non-protected industries. Correct. Is it the most reasonable assumption to assume that the resources used for that investment come out of nowhere, or is it the most reasonable assessment that those resources otherwise would have been invested in whatever is a higher productivity business that's not without it being artificially protected?
No, because one, that assumes a world where the tariffs aren't reciprocal. Second, it assumes a world where we don't have things like subsidies. Let me ask you, did you heavily condemn subsidies that were being issued for things like Green New Deal type shit? Can you point to me you criticizing those? Isn't it true that that would encourage business production in businesses that weren't profit, and that would take resources out of ones that would be more profitable? Can you show me your condemnation?
I think there's a lot of subsidies that are net job loss. The subsidies that I support because I believe they are a positive externality. For example, they reduce pollution. And I mean, that's what I believe.
So you admit that Green New Deal subsidies, you think that there's a positive externality, which is that it reduces pollution, but you'll admit
carbon emission.
Okay, but you'll admit economically they're harmful.
And definitely in the short term, I'm mixed about the long run effects, but yeah.
Why? What about?
Speaking, I guess just for long term effects, I guess Rob, if the allegations against Destiny are true, do you think he should be put on a sex offender registry so that way future sexual partners can be warned of his crimes?
No. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, it depends on what the law is. Do I think it's a good idea that people would be warned that Destiny has potentially done shit? I guess, unless he's. But I would have to read the law. Like, I don't think what he did rises to the level of exposing yourself to someone in public. I don't think it rises to the level of sexually assaulting someone. If the laws in certain states or certain registries say people that have violated people's consents through filming them without their knowledge, and Destiny's found to have done that, then yeah, I guess if that's what the law says.
That would be one of the allegations against Destiny, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, if it's proven true, I said. I think that we're operating under the assumption
answer is yes, Destiny, if the allegations are found to be true, should be put on a sex offender list.
Did the laws say that filming someone without consent puts you on the sex offender list?
You just gave the qualifications for that.
No, I didn't. I said if this specific list says that violating someone's consent by filming them without their consent means that you should be put in this list, then I would be fine with that. I'm unaware that that's the case. Should we change the law? I don't know. Maybe there's room for a discussion on whether or not. I don't think that's a Destiny specific conversation, but maybe we should seriously consider people that film people without their consent. Maybe they should be put in a list. I don't know that I would support, though, someone that filmed with consent but then sent that to a third party.
But that's not the only allegation.
Of course, that's. Of course,
so again,
the allegation's been admitted.
If the allegations are true, if they are true, it's conditional. Should Destiny be put on a sex offender list?
again, I would have to think about it heavily. I don't think as the
Why,
laws are
in the
written,
general, are you okay with entertaining the idea of putting people on the sex offender list for this type of offense of secretly recording sexual acts? But when we talk about Destiny specifically, you cannot make that, like, cross that bridge.
well, it's easy because I don't think that we should make an exemption to the law for one specific person. If we're going to have a broader
Nobody's
conversation,
nobody's asking for an exemption. You can say it in the general. You just won't say it about Destiny.
no, that's not true at all. If we
Rejected it like 4 times.
listen to me. I was quite clear that said if that's what the law suggests, then yes, he should be put in the list if he's found guilty of that. But if not, then no. But then I said when we talk about should that be the law, I'm open to hearing about it. I think that it would be an interesting debate to have, right? I think we have to be honest about how many times there's my buddy Glenn. Hey, Glenn, have you ever been somewhere and you saw someone show you a picture of tits and said, hey, there's the chick I hooked up with last night? Yeah. Should that person be on a sex offender list?
Nah.
At what
See,
age?
that's what I'm saying.
At what
That was-
age should like the sex offender stuff start like happening? Like if you fuck up as like a 16-year-old, should you be on the sex offender list?
Tough. It depends on the nature of it, I
Depends
guess.
on the crime, exactly. You know, like if you're
I mean-
raping
I mean,
somebody,
people-
probably.
People can be put on the sex offender list as minors, but I mean, if there's mitigating factors like that, typically there's. I mean, not even all sex crimes are you on the registry forever. So I mean, yeah, of course, minors can be put on the sex offender list.
What is like the minimum age that you would support?
I don't
having
know
them?
the specifics of that.
No, I know that's why
Um,
I'm not asking you specific. I'm just asking like what age you think is too young to put someone on it.
It depends on what they do.
Is it going to be based on age or based on crime?
But let's assume the worst.
Would
The
it not
worst.
be-
crime.
would it not be
I
based on, like,
don't know
European
the answer to
offense,
that
crime
question.
trials
I know
based?
that I would be comfortable with people 18 and above being put on the sex offender list.
But not a
If a
17.
if a 14-year-old did the worst sexual crime possible, I have no problem with him being on the list the rest of his life. He fucking knew better. At
The rest
14.
of his life?
For those who are curious, it depends state by state, so it really depends on the state. Everyone's gonna have their own way to handle it.
Why does that trouble you, non-fun? If an adult does that, should he be placed on it the rest of his life?
The worst sexual crime imaginable?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. I don't know
What's
if
the
I would
difference if it's
say-
a 14-year-old?
Your brain isn't even fully developed until you're like over 20, right? I guess I just don't. I guess like I see a much larger potential for someone to change if they do something really bad when they're
So you're
14.
thinking? Are you saying that any age after 25, okay, lifetime prison? But you know what? 24 and a half. If you go out and grape somebody,
I would have to
10
think
years.
more where I would draw the exact line of when it's appropriate to put someone on it for life. But I think 14 feels too low because I feel like there's like, you know,
I disagree.
only.
I think that you should be. If that sort of thing happens, again, it's not like this list means that it's a life sentence as far as behind bars,
I was gonna
right?
ask, like, can you be
But
taken off
Sure.
if you have good behavior long enough? Or-
I don't know. The whole point of the list is like, think about it. What if someone, Danny, if you have children?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what if someone sexually assaulted a child when they were 15 and now they're 40? Are you like, it's cool, they take them off the list. I didn't need to know my neighbor that's talking to my daughter coming into the house off the school bus every day. I didn't need to know that. Fuck yeah, I'd want to know. If they did the crime to be put on the list, then and it's the worst crime, then yeah, leave them on the list. That doesn't mean they may not have changed, but the purpose of the list is to give people the right to know, look, this is a possibility, protect your loved ones, and make sure you're careful around this person. So I you know, it'd be different if we're having a conversation. Should they be? You're 14, you do this. Should you be locked up and the key thrown away?
I'll disagree a little bit. It is for safety, but I think it's more so like so we can catch repeat offenders, people that are going to do this again. In theory, there's someone if they're like, again, it's gonna be hard to prove, but if they're never going to offend again, they should be able to like go about society. Okay, I don't know.
Well, yes, but I mean, you can say that about anything at all. If a 40-year-old did it and we knew they'd never, I mean, but you get it right. If a 40-year-old did that and then you could see in a crystal ball they'd never do it again, I guess. But that's the whole point. If we're looking at factors, right, for what makes someone likely to do that, recidivism would probably be the top factor. You've done it in the past. And so, you know, as the whole point of the, like, I'll tell you what, I grew up in a rural area. I was shocked growing up. I was always like, you'd see this shit, you know, I'm 40, so you'd see this shit on TV, like child offenders and stuff. You'd be like, that's like big city shit. And then once I'm an adult and you look, there's people all around on this fucking list. And some of it I get is like, some dude took a piss drunk and the school bus drove by. But some of it's like, this dude did 15 years. And you're like, wow. This blows my mind. I didn't know that was in my region. So I understand the utility of something like this. You know, what Destiny did doesn't rise nearly to the level of anything we're talking about here. But just in theory, yeah, I don't have a problem if someone is strong enough and sexually mature enough to commit the most heinous sex crime against a defenseless person, I have no problem with the world being aware of that the rest of that person's life. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I guess.
Now, it's different. Maybe if the crime's less, let's say hypothetically, Sick, what you're saying ends up being the case, that a certain state has a law that says if you film someone against their consent, you go on a sex offender list, right? So the 14-year-old gets...
sorry, I just need to be explicitly clear. Not just film somebody against their consent, because there's plenty of states where that is totally fine. I mean, anything one-party consent. We're talking about specifically filming somebody engaging in a sexual act.
Yeah, of course. That was implied in what I was saying, of course. So filming someone engaged in a sexual act without their consent, right? If we would have a state that would be enough to get you put on the list, I think that maybe a 14-year-old at some point you could be like, well, this was something fucking a stupid person would do and we'd be more lenient. So I agree with Glenn. It depends on the nature of the crime. It's the same with like penalty-year-old kid vandalizes something. You're probably more lenient on their permanent record than a fucking 40-year-old man. But if a 14-year-old brutally murders 3 people, you might say, I'm sorry, like that's a crime so heinous, we're going to treat you as an adult. And I'm okay with that sort of the severity of the crime changing how we treat adolescent criminals. So
I don't think anyone disagrees with that in principle. I think we just disagree on how far we should go with that. I don't know if I'd ever view like life imprisonment or putting you on the sex offender registry for life as appropriate punishment for someone that young, even if they've committed one of the worst crimes you can commit. I don't know. I just see so much potential.
I'll be honest, this whole thing is bait purgatory anyways. It's kind of uninteresting anyways.
But back to the Coomer Gremlin, I kind of feel bad for Destiny right now. I do. I know it's kind of weird, Rob, because I normally, like to just roast.
Oh wait, chill. Okay, speaking of purgatory, I'm sorry, I'm getting spam DM'd, and I'm not trying to do this, dog. I'm not. I swear to God, Sick. I'm getting spam DM'd. Okay, I'm sorry to press you about this live. Okay, someone is telling me the Sick guy you're talking to tried to rape his 8-year-old sister when he was 12 and told the story online 3 times.
Page is wrong.
He said Queeman was repeating this. He said this on his stream. Do you know? Can you please just elaborate on this, please? Can you please just elaborate on this?
I mean, you are putting me on the spot, but
I know. I'm sorry. I'm getting spammed. I'm literally getting spammed. I'm supposed to ignore it, but I feel like if this person's spamming me, like 3 different people from Queeman's little area are spamming me, I'm like, okay, then it sounds like I'm dodging, I'm sweeping the platform someone who tried to rape their sister. So I just need to hear you repeat this so I can move on.
From the ages of 8 to 10, I was molested. When I was 10, I tried that on somebody else. That's it. That is the story. And I was not 12.
That's sad to hear. I was also molested, so I understand your pain. Okay, that's all. I apologize. I didn't know if it was
any condolences.
Listen, I didn't know if it was okay.
I did
maybe
was
talk
wrong.
about tariffs. Fucking.
I didn't know. Okay, sorry. I didn't know if you were like. I didn't know if you were like. They were like telling me a troll, and I'm like, okay. If they're telling me a troll, then this guy will say you're a retard, and he'll move on. So yeah. My apologies.
I mean, let me put it this way: if people want to chastise me for something I did when I was 10 years old after 2 years of abuse, then they can certainly have that kind of energy for Destiny. Okay, at 36, I think he's 100%, fine 100%. Sharing that culpability and responsibility.
100%. I didn't like 100% believe them with you, and I was like, okay, should I DM him about this? But I'm like, okay, it's like content. I get it.
Someone who's like born with trauma, like maybe if your grandma repeatedly kills like your dogs that you're bonding to when you're a child, that probably leads to like bad results when you're an adult. Maybe,
Yeah. So he's the sympathetic figure in this whole story, right?
No, I understand it. Like I was also like as a kid, I was also in that situation. I didn't do that, but I can understand how there would be feelings towards there. But no, I get that. No, again, I apologize for kind of vibe terroristing that. I just was getting spammed, and I didn't want Queeman to like go on JSTOK and I'd be like, I'm just sweeping for someone that they don't like or something. Okay, anyway, yeah. So non-fun. You didn't say it was anti-rape. Also, why am I getting Hold on 1 second. I'm getting TTS spammed. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Back on rounds?
Yeah,
we hear you.
so, okay, on this specific point, which is a real fucking tragedy, I do home health care with adults with disabilities. One of the crazy things about the field, like people with autism and shit like that, your chances of being, like, sexually assaulted, molested...
Hold up. Sorry, go ahead. There's something blaring on TTS. Hold up.
Anyways, your chances of being assaulted or something like that, if you have a serious disability like autism or nonverbal or something, goes through the roof. Right? And it is tragic that you do see that a lot of people, particularly if you don't have a societal understanding that people that don't have those disabilities have, and you've been treated like that as a child, then as an adult, you think that that's normal behavior. And a lot of people end up being on a list and something like we've talked about. And so it does influence sort of my perception, because I've dealt with a lot of people that I think are really good people that maybe don't have this sort of mental capacity to understand right from wrong societally like that, and they grew up in that sort of shitty thing. But still, as a member, even though my heart would go out to them in many cases, the members of the public have the right to know that this is a possibility, that this sort of shit is more likely to happen with this person than with a general member of the public, and regardless of the reasons. So, anyways, I was happy talking about fucking tariffs and shit before we jumped into like that. Tried to bridge it into a little something, but yeah, it's fucked up. You got to be careful, right? Like, whoever was DMing you that, Darius, you'll be real fucking careful before you're like, people are saying you're a rapist, and I think if I'm not mistaken, that's sort of what Dan and Darius were saying with some of the Destiny shit that they are trying to correct the record. It's okay to say what he did's fucked up, but the people that maybe would go further, we should be careful. But before,
well, we should be careful.
No, 100%.
You're sick, but like not for Redact, right? Sick, like that's fucked up. That whole thing, like, it just seems like fucked up. That, like, I don't know. Whatever.
I've said I'm willing to amend my statement, and
I just don't want you to like it. Look, I understand you fucking hate Destiny. I don't give a shit. I hate Destiny too. He's like, I don't. Okay.
Okay, you don't hate Destiny.
Listen, Destiny is a sociopath, okay? But I just happen to get along with sociopaths, so it's fine, okay? It's all right.
Okay, am I allowed
you can, yes, it's fine. I'm just saying, you can hate him all you want. I'm going to remove you from the block list, all that, that's fine. Just know I'm not Destiny, okay? I'm just, I'm stuck in an awkward spot. That's it.
His best friend sick. What's your
okay? Okay, you know what? I understand that. But I would say, okay, let's say, because for the record, I do have logs of Destiny at least admitting to using Redact generally. Not specifically for deleting revenge porn or evidence of doing that. But I would say, because Destiny has a badge of Redact on his X profile, if he was found either in the courts through preponderance of evidence to be found guilty of sharing revenge porn and or secretly recording sex tapes, or admitted to doing those things himself, would you advocate and or try, or just, I don't know what power you have over him having that badge, but have it removed from his profile?
I mean, forget the fucking badge. If it comes out that all of this shit is true, and
I just want that.
I mean, forget the. I'm going farther than the badge. If everything comes out that it's true and there's no defense, and he's like, "Fuck, yeah, sorry guys, I did it," I'd be out. Okay, so, but I owe it to him to let him have that day in court. That's it. That's all I'm saying to that level. So if it comes to that, like we're 6 months down the road, and it's like, yeah, what can I say? Then I'll be out. So there you go.
Was like any of this?
So would you not consider? Sorry, I just need to ask.
I don't want. I really don't want.
I don't
want to. I really look. I said I didn't want to talk about this shit.
Actually, I have to leave the conversation after this. So I literally just want to ask you this one question, and then I got to get out of here. Actually,
I like what you're doing. That's a good strategy right there. It's like, I said I don't want to talk about it, and you're like, okay, listen, I gotta go. So let me ask you the question, because I gotta go.
I also have children, so like, yeah, I gotta do that shit. So would you not consider Destiny's message to Pixie an admission of what he did, which would be non-consensually sharing her? I really
do not want to be speculating on this shit, because I don't want that's it. I don't know all the details. I only know what's public. Actually, I don't I don't.
Wait,
I
is
don't
that
want to
que-
comment
does that
on
question
this.
require
Is that
any
fair?
stipulation?
I don't want. I don't. No. You know what? I don't want to comment on this.
I don't think
That's
it's fair. I mean, I think you did your best to drag me through the mud over something that I said publicly, and you're unwilling to be pressed.
I made
about
a
the Destiny
3
situation
hours.
over
No, I already-
something that he has
That's
posted
not true.
publicly.
That's not fair. I did a 3-hour stream of shitting on Steve. I'm done now. I'm not going to keep repeating it. If you want to watch me shit, if you want to watch me shit on Steve, you can go do it for 3 hours.
So
So
you're-
much so. Hold on. So much so that the top posts on Livestream Fails were multiple posts about me shitting on Steve, and not like in a cutesy sweeping way, just like titles like Dan, Destiny's best friend says he's a shitty abusive husband. Those are the posts at the top of the LSF. So if you want to go watch me shitting on Steve, I did it for 3 hours. But I also said once I did this, I'm done, and now I'm done. That's it.
Okay.
Just to be
I did the
clear-
first question. So I really truly though I do have to go. I will say for Darius, I actually enjoyed the talk with you. I did not expect that, but yeah.
Yeah, everything kind of gave it a little bit hectic there. I'm going to give you perms so you can join in whenever you want. We're going to do this show kind of like almost daily. We're going to do about other topics and other
Christ.
things. If you ever want to, yeah, I know, right?
It's not gonna-
It won't be.
it's not gonna happen.
It's not going to be. It'll happen almost daily, and it won't be this hectic. So if you ever want to hop in, you can check me out on Kick. You can just hop in, talk with us. Sorry, it was
I
a little.
do want to say thank you
a little
for
bit
coming.
much.
Yeah, thank you, Prawn, for inviting me. I really have to go, guys. Like midnight's my bedtime, so
Thanks for coming.
later.
I did
Well,
want to talk
have
about your cherry tweets. We'll talk about that another day. But okay. Also, Glenn Noerr, thanks for joining. But yeah, now we have one less anti-Destiny, so it's a little more balanced. Go ahead, Rob or Glenn. Whoever wants to go.
Dan, I just want to say real quick, your stance is, it sounds to me, I'm trying to interpret here. I know you're saying you don't want to talk about it. You don't have to tell me if you think it's true or not, or anything like that. But it sounds to me your stance is, if the worst of the allegations against Destiny were found to be true in court, that would be your deal breaker. Not every allegation. Is that true? Is that what you're saying? So you might believe some of the lesser allegations, but that's not enough?
I appreciate that you guys want to get like more context and more like clippable moments. I said so much about this on my stream. I just don't want to keep rehashing it over and over because I just like.
That's fine.
I know this is like the soup du jour. I feel like I answered every question pretty good that came up to me for 3 hours straight of how I felt about the situation and everything. And I've known him for 15 years, and I am going to wait and see how it plays out. I owe that little amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Credibility? No. Charity to him after 15 years to do that. So I will do that. And I would hope that he would do that for me. You know, like there was a lot of people that was there someone that I'm going to say something. I think Kevin Spacey was actually innocent. Can we just all say that for a second? I think he actually was innocent, and it got found out in court he was actually innocent, and now he's fucked forever. It's kind
You're
of
talking about like false allegations. Like I am.
No. Hold on. I'm not saying that these are false allegations. To be clear, not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm withholding judgment until the end. That's it.
That's different, right? Like that's
I
perfectly
really-
reasonable.
What?
But because the nature of the question I asked isn't do you think he's guilty or not? It was you brought up through your own volition. I didn't press you. You brought up. You seemed to say to Sick, well, if the allegations were true, I would cut ties. And I was just asking for clarity on that. So saying I think it's totally prudent of you to say he's my friend. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until all of the facts come out. Totally prudent. But just talking about
I don't have it nailed. I don't have it nailed down to the level that you want yet to answer that question. How about that? So when I get more answers, I'll kind of make my decision. I think
Can I ask you a
that's
question, Dan?
basically. Oh, for fuck's sake! What?
I think mine's a little simple because we're talking counterpoints yesterday. Some people think, despite maybe even possibly being true, there might be no legal repercussions. It's a hard case to win. It's gonna be a hard case to prove. Even in the case of Kevin Spacey, we agree. Even though he's acquitted, doesn't prove his innocence. He still could have done really bad things in the past.
No, what I was saying is I didn't like the idea that I think
the question is,
for
if it's revealed that he
Okay.
did these bad things, but there's no any legal repercussions, you still stand by your statement.
if what?
If he's not held legally accountable at all, but he still did bad things.
I
would
just
you
said
would
that
change anything?
I just said that I'm gonna wait and see where it is at the end, and then I'll make my decision essentially based off that. I can't there's too many variables for me to be like, well, if this is true and this isn't true, but if the pixie thing is true, but the cherry thing isn't true, or the cherry thing is true and the pixie thing was a little bit about I'm not doing this whole fucking thing, right? I I just don't.
Maybe I can simplify
I'm
the
not-
question for you because it's a very easy question.
I don't want to have any more easy
Is your
questions.
standard like a legal thing, or is it beyond that?
It's how I feel about the situation, honestly.
Okay, fair enough.
A question, not really a question, Sick left, but a question I had for him was just briefly hearing what Dan's company does, Redact, and him saying, well, you know, sex perverts could use this. Couldn't you make the same argument about a VPN? Like, couldn't a credible argument be made? Oh, well, if you were a criminal doing criminal shit online, you would get a VPN. And so if Dan owned a VPN company, would it also cast shade on him? It's like, oh, your friend was accused of something, you own a VPN. I mean, it just seems tenuous at best, the whole line of attack on your business, Dan. I don't get it. Just from an outsider perspective, listening.
Oh, wait, say what now? Of what?
I'm saying that, like, Sick's commentary about your business and like how, like, bad people would use it. Can't you say the same thing of a VPN?
Sure. Yeah.
So-
or cash or anything else.
I was listen. Just to say, Sick's commentary. I know he's not here, but I don't want to say it's Sick's commentary. I think he is getting manipulated. He is getting brainwormed by the Destiny derangement syndrome that is going on in JSK's orbit. The Queemans, the Chud Logics, the maybe not Turkey Toms, but like these people around. It's not that this is Sick's genuine critique, because obviously you could easily say this. You thought of this, Rob Noerr, and I don't want to say. Listen, I don't know you too well, but from what I understand, you're kind of retarded. But like you even got that right. So it's like I know Sick's not a retarded guy. He's not stupid. He's not dumb. He understands it. But when you have all these other people reaffirming your beliefs, and you have these people like JSLK, Queeman, all the other people like going on saying, "Oh yeah, like this all makes sense." Yeah. Makes sense that maybe Redact is hiding laws, and they're all doing this just as a tactic to smear Destiny or make other people's beliefs claims more realistic for whatever reason they're doing it for. It makes sense. It makes complete sense in that if you think of it from that lens and that lens alone, from like a actual lens of, oh, is this a real criticism? Like, is this something I can follow through with other things? It wouldn't make sense.
It's always nice to be called. It's nice to be called retarded from a mush mouth fucking lefty that can't get two words out without stuttering. So thank you for that.
I got a question here about this. Like, was the cameras hidden? Or did he pull out his phone? Like, I haven't seen the shit, nor do I really want to.
But no one
But
knows,
like, if they,
no one knows spectacularly because it's all in court. Destiny's like, I'm not going to talk about this. So all we
'Cause
have
I'm saying,
is
if it's like
the
somebody pull
woman's
out their
allegations,
phone-
but no one really knows.
Oh,
okay,
wait,
I'm
yeah,
saying if somebody and you see
Alright.
them pulling out their phone while they're doing stuff, like you are contributing into the filming of it at that point. Like, where's part of the responsibility?
Glenn,
I think most of the allegations are he recorded with consent but then shared it
Right.
without consent. Although some people argue that he had his phone in his pocket for some grinder hookups, and Cherry, I think, argues that it was without consent when she was recorded.
To me, it's like two waves of allegation. The first allegation was he's sharing stuff that was recorded with consent, but he shared it without consent. The new allegation is he's recording without consent, which has not been confirmed.
I mean, do you have to be a rocket scientist to know if somebody films you doing something? Most likely, some shit's gonna get shared. Like,
It's a fair
I'm just saying.
conversation. I still feel bad for Pixie, but yeah, it's
yeah, I know I
fair.
feel bad for them. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, if you didn't want to be on camera, like, hey, no, put that away, take that down, or delete it, whatever. Like, you could end what you're doing.
and
You don't got to continue.
And I think, listen, if we're just going to be totally honest about it, and I'm not trying to talk shit on Pixie, I do feel bad with that specific allegation. Again, I don't know if people can tell. I don't think anyone wants to see me having any type of sex on any type of video, whatever, right?
Rob, I'm
Never
with you on
happened.
that one.
How old are you, Rob?
Thank you. I'm 40. So I brought everyone.
I'm 41. Us 40 guys.
Yeah.
Ain't never gonna see my dick anywhere on the internet ever. You know why? I ain't never sent it in. Never
Right.
sent. It doesn't matter who's on the internet.
That's
Fucking
right.
Gal Gadot is messaging me. I don't. I'll fucking do a MS Paint dick before I send my fucking dick on the internet. That's the only way.